They say the sky does not weep without reason. But that night, my children, the heavens trembled, and red rain fell upon the village of Umuaka like blood. The drums fell silent. The wind stopped dancing. Even the elders forgot their chants, for the ancestors were restless and something sacred had been broken beneath the moon. A baby had been born during the forbidden eclipse, a girl whose cries split the night and made the gods remember a promise long buried in the dust of time. Her name was Neka, meaning Mother is Supreme. Yet her first breath came with thunder, and her mother's last came with silence. The villagers whispered, "An omen has arrived." That night, the old diviner Okpara looked at the crimson sky and said, "When the sky weeps, it remembers what humanity has forgotten." None understood his words, not yet. Please subscribe if you believe the gods still watch us from above. For the story of why the sky wept began with love, loss, and a promise stronger than death. Umuaka was a village carved between hills and silence. Palm trees swayed like witnesses, watching generations come and go beneath the gaze of the ancient ancestors. But since Neka's birth, things changed. The yam harvest failed, children fell ill, and birds circled the roofs crying strange songs of mourning at dawn. Fear wrapped itself around the hearts of the people. They whispered, "This child has brought the sky's anger upon us." Yet her father, Obi, refused to abandon her. Every morning, Obi would lift his daughter toward the sky, begging, "Ancestors, if this child carries a curse, then curse me instead." But the sky remained mute, heavy with sorrow. The elders gathered and said, "If the gods are displeased, the child must be taken to the river and offered back to them." Obi wept, for love was stronger than custom. Please like if you think he should fight for his daughter. For that night, as the council prepared the ritual, the clouds began to rumble once more. At dawn, the villagers gathered by the river Oji, where offerings to the gods were made. Mist hugged the water like breath from the ancestors themselves. Okwara, the old diviner, led the ritual. His eyes were clouded with time, but his spirit saw far beyond men's understanding. He held a calabash filled with palm wine and ash. "And Neka," he said softly, "the sky marked you before you entered your mother's womb. You are not cursed, but chosen. Yet even the chosen must prove their worth." The villagers gasped. "Chosen," they whispered. But Okbara continued, "When the sky wept, it remembered a wound. This child is its messenger. She carries both healing and pain." Obi fell to his knees, clutching his daughter. "What must I do?" he cried. Okbara only looked at the sky and said, "You must teach her to love what has hated her." Please subscribe if you believe destiny can be rewritten by love. For that moment marked the beginning of Neka's journey to prove her purpose to gods and men alike. As years passed, Neka grew into a quiet girl with eyes that reflected storms. When she spoke, lightning flickered faintly across the horizon. The gods still listened. Children feared her, calling her daughter of thunder. But her father taught her compassion. He said, "Strength without mercy is a storm that destroys its own roots." One evening, she sat by the river and sang to the clouds. Her voice was soft, yet carried the weight of forgotten prayers. The thunder answered, a low hum, almost human. Opara, now frail and fading, visited her. He said, "When thunder speaks, it is not anger, but remembrance. The sky remembers the first betrayal of man." "What betrayal?" she asked. He whispered, "The betrayal of gratitude. When men stopped thanking the sky for rain, the sky began to weep in silence." Please like if you still say thank you before you eat. For gratitude, my children, is the bridge between the seen and unseen. and Nneka would soon learn this truth. One afternoon, dark clouds rolled across the hills. The air grew heavy, and the elders gathered in fear. They said, "It is happening again. The sky is preparing to weep." But this time, the rain did not come with thunder. It came with whispers, voices in the wind calling Nneka's name like an ancient song long forgotten. She felt drawn to the forest heart. "Father," she said, "something calls me beyond the trees." Obi begged her to stay, but destiny does not wait for permission. Deep inside, she found a shrine covered in moss and sorrow. A cracked drum sat before a broken sculpture of the sky spirit, Chineke Elu, long abandoned by her people. A voice echoed, "They stopped singing to me. They took without gratitude, and now the sky has forgotten how to bless." The ground trembled beneath her feet. Please subscribe if you think she should answer the call, for the spirit's tears became rain, and Nneka's heart beat like thunder in reply. That night, Nneka dreamed of a time when the world sang together, man and nature, sky and earth, all united by gratitude and respect. But the songs had been lost. She awoke weeping. The sky outside echoed her tears. The river rose dangerously, threatening to swallow the farmlands of Umuaka once again. Okpara's final words haunted her. "You must teach love to what has forgotten it." But how does one teach gratitude to hearts hardened by fear? She went from house to house, urging the people to give thanks, to sing, to pour libations of peace. But they mocked her, saying, "You brought this curse, not blessing." Even Obi, weary and afraid, begged her to stop. "You cannot fight what the gods have decided." But Nneka believed the gods were only reflecting men's own neglect. Please subscribe if you've ever been misunderstood for doing right, for truth often sounds like madness before it becomes wisdom. When the rains turned to floods, the villagers turned against Nneka. They seized her, bound her hands, and dragged her to the river that once saved her life. "Let the sky take back its child," they shouted. But as they threw her in, the thunder cracked, splitting the heavens like an angry wound. The storm rose wild, swallowing trees and homes. Yet in the heart of it, Nneka floated unharmed, glowing with light that did not belong to this world. A voice from the clouds spoke. "Why do you destroy what was sent to heal?" The villagers fell on their faces, trembling as lightning painted their fear upon the land. Then the rain stopped suddenly. Nneka emerged, carrying a handful of glowing water, the tears of the sky itself, pure and alive. Like if you believe mercy is stronger than wrath, for she did not curse them. She knelt and said, "May your hearts learn what your hands have forgotten." Nneka poured the glowing water upon the dying yam fields. Within moments, new shoots sprouted, green, alive, grateful to exist once more. Children who had fallen ill began to recover. The sky cleared, and for the first time in many seasons, sunlight returned to Umuaka with a golden warmth. Obi ran to her and embraced her tightly. "My daughter," he whispered, "forgive us." But she smiled softly. "It was not me you wronged, Father. It was the spirit of gratitude." The people gathered, ashamed yet renewed. They built a new shrine to the sky spirit, and Nneka led them in songs that healed the land's forgotten heart. Okbara's voice, faint like wind, echoed from beyond. "When man remembers to thank, the sky remembers how to bless." And once again, balance returned. Subscribe if you've ever been saved by a lesson you once ignored, for gratitude became the new offering of Umuaka. Years passed. Nneka grew into a woman of wisdom, known across villages as the voice who calmed the storm. Yet she remained humble, still thanking the dawn every morning. Children gathered around her to hear the tale of the sky that once wept. She would say, "The sky did not cry from anger, it cried from loneliness." When you forget to thank what feeds you, even blessings begin to feel like burdens, she thought. Gratitude is what keeps the universe breathing in harmony. And so, the people changed. Festivals of thanksgiving replaced rituals of fear. Songs rose again to the heavens, old words, new hearts. But some nights, when rain falls softly, villagers still say it is the Neka spirit reminding them, remember before you receive, thank before you ask. Like if this story reminded you of someone who forgot to say thank you, for even the sky listens to humble hearts. And now, my children, when the rain falls and thunder rolls gently in the distance, remember, it is not punishment, but remembrance. The sky still weeps for love, not anger. For every tear it sheds, waters another chance for men to be kind again. Every storm is a prayer, every rainbow a reply from grateful souls. Neka's name became a proverb. He who thanks the sky never walks in drought. Her story lived in hearts, not stones, and her lesson passed through generations. The griots still tell it under the palm moon, and the elders still whisper. Gratitude is the language of the gods. Only the humble can speak it. So when next you stand in the rain, lift your hands and whisper thanks. For the sky weeps to remind us that blessings come from remembrance. Tell me in the comments, when last did you thank the sky?